Keenan Allen doesn't care about your historical trends, posting the best season of his career at 31 years old. He had 21.5 points per game, but he's still one of the most polarizing players in fantasy football. Now, this is because a lot of things broke right for him. He was playing next to Justin Herbert, he had Mike Williams go out with an injury, and Austin Eckler fell off a cliff. Now he's playing with a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams, he's playing next to DJ Moore, and he's playing next to Rome Odunze, heading into his age 32 season. Now, this has caused him to be drafted around pick 81.8 according to ESPN ADP, and the wide receiver 31. So we're going to watch the film from 2023 and tell you if you should be drafting Keenan Allen or if you should totally fade him this year. Before we hop into the film, I want to explain what we're looking for and thank Long Island Receiver Academy for providing this cut up. And we're going to be looking for how does Keenan Allen win. Now, just from watching him, I know he's not an X receiver. They move him around and he wins off of his routes. He's a route runner and that's how he wins. But we're going to see if that's still how he was winning last year, even as an older receiver. We're also going to see, did he show signs of falling off? Was his athleticism starting to weigh down? Was it really just where he wasn't able to make plays by himself? And also, we're going to see, how was he getting targets? Was he getting targets by being force-fed? Or was he creating enough separation to where Justin Herbert had to throw him the ball at that time because he was so wide open? Because he's going to have to fight for targets with two other receivers. He has to be incredibly wide open. They're not just going to throw him the ball if he has half a yard separation. We're looking for a yard, yard and a half, 2 yards to where Caleb Williams has no doubt where he's going with the ball, and that's to Keenan Allen. So first play here, we have Keenan Allen in motion, and he's not playing typical X receiver. They're moving him around. This is very common. Now Herbert gets the snap. Keenan Allen breaks off a nice little corner route. He has space. You can see he has a few steps on his guy. He's going to get to the wide open space and get to the sidelines. This ball, Herbert's looking him down, should be completed. Over his head, though, he hits the sidelines. You're not going to see it very often from Herbert. He is still a fantastic quarterback, but he's not perfect. That's not on Allen. That's on Herbert. Now this play, we're going to see, it looks like he's going to stutter step, do a little out route, but instead, he's going to flip his hips and go on a go route. So we'll break that down real quick. We'll run that back and see why that's wide open. Herbert's looking at him right away. We have this receiver bottling in his cornerback, and this safety starts to come down. The moment that Herbert sees him start to creep up is when we know that Allen has the leverage on him. He has the best positioning, so he knows he can get up the field and he can win. Now, the safety takes a step forward, and that's his fatal mistake. He's still able to get back. He recovers, but Herbert puts it right in the money, and that's a great play. Not a lot of quarterbacks are going to make that throw consistently, but Herbert does. I do think Williams will be able to make that throw even in year one. Here's a super interesting play because this taps into his athleticism. They give him the ball on a screen. There's 3 guys around him. We have 1, 2, third guy on his back. So it looks like he's going to get tackled right away. He really stands no chance against these 2 defenders, but he does a nice little juke move, breaks the leg tackle from the third guy, and breaks another one, reaches off the plane, and extend. That's not what you're expecting from a 31-year-old guy. You're saying, oh, okay, maybe he just wins like a Cooper Kupp type of guy. No, he's getting screen passes. He has shown no signs of slowing down, at least earlier in the year. But we will see when some wear and tear picks up. It's going to hit the older receivers harder, and we'll see if he can maintain that. But early on in the year, he does not look like he's slowing down at all. This is the staple of Allen's game. You have the running back in motion here, working on his man, and he's just going to do a nice little release, get the slant route. Herbert finds him right away. I do think there are a lot of guys that could make that play on the Bears. DJ Moore was great from the slant because of his yak ability, so we'll see if a majority of his plays are on slants. That's a little concerning, but it doesn't really seem like that so far from skipping ahead in the tape and watching it through the first time. This highlights yet another thing Allen does well. He's stacked behind 2 receivers, and he's just going to go find the soft spot on the defense. 2 guys there, he splits them, sits down, is able to make the catch. So that's kind of where you're saying, okay, he's just a smart football player, and that's not going to change as he gets older. He's still going to have that in his bag, and he's still going to be able to understand the defense very well and make those kind of catches with two defenders on him. This was a play that didn't really impress me that much. You have Allen. He's going to do a nice little stop and go, but he just doesn't really separate. It's a bad ball. Just all around, not a great throw. The stutter step was not good. He wasn't really fooling anyone. And it's just not a great route by him. So that's really the first knock I have in the film so far. For the last clip of the Dolphins game, this just kind of shows him being used as a boundary guy. And I think the Bears are missing that. I think Rome's going to be the X. DJ Moore is going to be more their yak guy. They're going to get in positions to where they want to give him the ball in space. And they're going to put Allen more on the boundary. So, again, you can kind of just tell how many targets we've seen from this Dolphins game. He's getting used a lot at the boundary, even though they don't have anyone. But he's getting space. Like here, it's just a nice little 6-7 yard gain. And he's getting the separation, showing no signs of just being bagged. And it's not like Herbert's just forcing the coverage. He's getting open here. Now, there's nothing really special about these two plays, but he's being used out of the backfield, which kind of speaks towards his athleticism. They're giving him a running start, and he looks fine. He doesn't look slow at all. Just gets open, two nice little flat routes, brings the ball in. Last season, Allen also had 7 touchdowns, so I want to take a look at his red zone targets. Here, he's bagged, but Herbert escapes out of the pocket. It's a 50-50 ball. Is he still able to win them? And he does. There's a flag on the play. I don't know if that was PI or anything else. It's not going to show me on this angle. But you see, contested catch, he's able to make the grab. So another plus play for Keenan Allen. Another red zone target from Allen. Slot fade here. He gets wide open. So nothing special from him. But you are a little concerned that the Bears have really never brought these kind of good play calls out in years past. But new regime, so it'll be interesting to see this year. I think they're about average. I think that's a great play on the Chargers coordinator. Not a great rep by Allen here. He's on 3 receivers side, and I don't know what the play was there, but that was just not a sharp cut, and it falls incomplete. Just not a great play overall by Allen. Here's a good play, but a concerning play. Doesn't really get that much separation. You see the receiver at the bottom of your screen is going to clear out for Allen to run a nice little out route, but he doesn't really beat his man. Playing his foot on the ground, he's still right on him. That's not a yard of space. That's maybe half a yard. He's open, but he's not insanely open. Comes back, though, and makes a nice catch, so kind of gives him a little bit of a plus on the play. I mean, he caught it. Just a little bit worrisome that the route running is starting to knock down from the beginning of the year. This is kind of a string of negative plays. It's not like this is a terrible play. He has enough space, decent blocking. It's really just a one-on-one, to be honest. And he isn't able to do anything with that. Not expected, but early in the year, we saw that amazing shake and bake play. Here, not so much. He still has it in his bag from time to time, but as we're seeing from the film, it's not like he's totally the same receiver he was when he was 25. He's still not able to make that move, not able to put a defender on skates quite as often as his younger days. Red zone target here, and he's just going to run a nice little slant route. It seems, again, this is more the Raiders just being bad. He's wide open. Donald Parham takes those 2 defenders out the play. He's just able to, his other receivers bringing this corner here. And the middle of the field is wide open. So it's a good play. I mean, he ran his route to perfection. But again, these are the kind of plays where it's like, okay, do we think that DJ Moore couldn't do that? Do we think Rome Odunze couldn't do that? I think both of them could. Again, that may just be a case of him being the number 1 guy in the team. But if you have DJ Moore ahead of him on the depth chart, I expect him to get that look in 2024. They're going to put Allen in motion here in the red zone. Motions across to the right. And he's able to just, again, this is more of a scheme play. You have QJ taking his receiver out, and the cornerback really just can't follow. But you do have to have good enough acceleration to kind of run off that motion and get open. So good play, able to haul it in, just solid play. It's nothing that stands out for me from Allen from the red zone, which is, a little concerning. I want him to be really creating separation in plays that are all on him rather than the scheme when you're scoring 7 touchdowns. But still, it's not like I can say, oh, that's not going to fly next year. That's not going to happen at all. Just not fairly confident and 100% sure that it will happen again. And when you're playing next to 2 other great receivers in a different scheme that has never been the best offensive mind in football. This is just a beautiful piece of route running. Allen breaks like he's going in for a slant, jumps to the outside, wide open. It's overthrown, but that's just a beautiful piece of route running. Allen shows that he still got it. Same kind of stack play we saw earlier here, and it works again. He gets open, but Herbert overthrows him. Now, I'm not going to say anything about Herbert, but it's kind of interesting that it's not like a lot of Allen's incompletion right now. They've definitely been more of Herbert's fault than his. Right now, I have a few knocks on him, but it's been a whole lot of good, a little bit of Herbert overthrows, and a few just not good separations. So, something to note there. This is going to be an out route from Allen here. He kind of just breaks in, makes a cut, but here, no separation at all. That's an incomplete pass, and that is not Herbert's fault at all. So, just not a good rep from Allen there. He was completely blanketed, could not shake his man. I'm starting to find more clips of Allen not creating separation. This seems like it's supposed to be a curl route, and he's the locked-in number 1 guy. Cannot even create an inch of space. I mean, he is just on top of him, and there's nothing he can do there. The ball is put to his outside, so he has a chance to make a play on the ball, but just nothing. Completely blanketed there. From watching a few plays in a row now, I really didn't notice how much Allen's getting moved around. Here, it's a nice play. Gets moved to the outside, comes back to the middle of the field, is able to make a nice catch in between the numbers. But I did not really realize how often Allen was being moved around. And it's impressive. He works very well. So that's something that's often, continuous year to year. And I definitely think the Bears will use him. And if he's being moved around, that means he's going to be schemed open. That means he's going to get pretty good looks for fantasy where he's going to be getting the target. And you might have Rome Odunze or DJ Moore playing more as the number 2, more the decoy, where it might be more important. They might be the 1, the X on that play from a real-life perspective. But Allen's the guy that's probably going to get the target. And that's exactly what we're looking for in fantasy football. Big play from Allen here. We're at the 30. So this is an explosive play. Makes a nice little stutter step outside. And then cuts back to the middle again. Not a ton of space, but enough to where he's able to catch the ball over his defender and hang on. So great throw and catch. And that's another one of his touchdowns on the year. I've seen a lot less of these screen passes, but these are all the ones I'm finding. I would highlight one if it was a great play, but really nothing. He's first play of the season on that screen pass was an amazing play. Haven't seen anything close to that since. This is a plus for the explosive category from Allen. Little corner out, and he's pretty much wide open. I don't know what that coverage was, but did not work. But now, 2 guys on him. A guy with a clear angle to make a tackle, a guy chasing him down from behind. So let's let this run, and he makes a nice play on them. Splits both of them, and he's going to score a touchdown off that. So even though earlier in the year it was a lot of those, plays where he wasn't doing too much, these are touchdowns recently where, he made that happen. It wasn't schemed up for him. It wasn't him just being the number 1 target on the field. No, that's a play where he could make that on pretty much any offense. Interesting red zone play here. I'm not sure if it is his fault. This is a little back of the end zone fade. He's not really he doesn't have any space. I don't think that's the play design though. But he flips his hips, and the ball is just a little outthrown. I think Herbert, could have thrown that better, but you're asking him, that's only going to work if it's in the perfect place with the perfect timing. I'd say that's probably a neutral. I'm not going to put a knock on Allen, but I'm also not really going to blame Herbert there either. Red zone target here, getting moved around yet again. I severely underestimated how much they move him around, and I expect that to continue with the Bears. But 3 guys on his field, you have QJ kind of just trying to take them out of the play, and there is a spot for him. He's just going to run a little crosser almost to the middle of the field, and we'll just watch how this plays out. He's going to get open. The defender's backpedaling. He's in a terrible position. He's watching QJ, but he realized, oh, I shouldn't have left the middle of the field. Fits it right in there, and Allen makes a tough catch. That's a good play, and also that's a great throw by Herbert. That's a throw that I'm not seeing a lot of NFL quarterbacks make. So will Caleb Williams make that throw year 1? Maybe, but there's not a lot of quarterbacks in the league that can make that kind of throw. Negative play here for Allen. It's a good release. He gets open, so honestly, it's not too bad, but the ball's at his fingertips. He can't haul it in. That's definitely a drop for him. That said, I don't think I noticed a single other drop on film. That's not something you're worried about. That's not really going to be affected by age, and Allen has never had that problem, but I just still felt like it was important to provide the negative plays to just kind of add some context. Another kind of bad rep here. I'm not sure if he was the primary target, but can't really shake his man. I don't know what he was really trying to go for there. Doesn't even get the throw, but just not open on that kind of in route or slant. Not a great play from him. This is the last play I'm going to show, and I kind of want to talk over my findings. I was surprised how much they used him in the slot. He was very good in the slot. He was still good outside, but obviously he's able to get a lot more separation when they can kind of play into his strengths and kind of hide that age, because when we saw the explosive plays, they were there from time to time, but they were definitely not consistent at all. However, you have DJ Moore. You're going to want to use him in the slot because you want to give him the ball in space, but he's definitely not a slot-only guy where you're going to have to decide between who to put in the slot on every play. Rome's an X guy. He's not going to eat into that at all. So I expect a very similar play style next year for him. I think the targets are going to come down, so you're kind of going to see that definitely drop from 20 points per game. And I think he's probably going to be combine the drop in targets with the fact that he's, he definitely can't separate. He's not going to get the same opportunities in the slot, and he's not going to be able to separate. He's probably going to lose a step next year as well. So I'm kind of bringing him down to 15, 16 points per game, maybe even 14 on the low end of things. But he's our wide receiver 30. So I like taking him, but I'm not quite sure if I'm still overly drafting him, because just because of the mouths to feed, and it wasn't blowing me away that he was winning on his own. It was a combination of good scheme and playing to his strengths. After watching the film, I am drafting Keenan this year. He's ranked 63rd, wide receiver 30 in our FTR exclusive rankings, so I like him a lot more than the running backs, tight ends, and quarterbacks, and I like him at value or a little bit more than the other receivers. But if you want to check out these full rankings that are backed up with data and film, if you want to check out our other tools, head over to fftradingroom.com and use our free trial. Just click on the premium feature and click on either of the options, the monthly or yearly. Monthly, you'll get that free trial for 30 days. And the link for that will be in the comments and the description. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.